to Kyrie Irving. Struggled in game one, 6 for 19, 0 for 5 from the three-point line, tallying 12 points. What did you think about his performance and his struggles in game one?
Atrocious is the only word I can describe for that. But it's kind of been like the reoccurring theme with Kyrie since, I think it was now 0-11 against Celtics in the last 11 games. It's pretty bad. Now, I'm coming into the series. We all knew that Boston has the ideal personnel to deal with Kyrie Irving, with the length and the size they have on the perimeter and everything. But damn, you gotta be better than this to win this. If you want a chance to really beat this Boston team, because I think Luka, what you're gonna get from Luka night in night out. I think Kyrie.
30 points, 10 rebounds for Luka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Luka too is the first player to debut with those stats in the finals since 2009. So I think he did his part. Kyrie got to come out and help and show out, and I think that will even open up the shooters as well if he's being effective.
Yeah, because Luka Doncic didn't really get much help here. He had 14 points from P.J. Washington. He was able to make some energy plays as they were getting that run in the third quarter. Even Jaden Hardy came in and gave him 13. But other than that, Daniel Gafford only had 8. Derrick Jones Jr. only had 5 points. Josh Green, 3 points. So Maxi Kleber, who they tried to trot out there, didn't really contribute, only 2 points. So that's not going to get it done. Scoring 89 points in the finals game, that might have happened in 94 with the Knicks and Houston Rockets, but in this day and age, that's not going to get it done. So definitely, what are some adjustments that you feel like the Dallas Mavericks need to make, man? Because it looked bad from the onslaught. They had no answers for Kristaps Porzingis when he started raining those threes from 29 feet away from the hoop, stretching that defense. They had no answers for Drew Holiday on Kyrie Irving. I feel like that was something that was big and huge that they didn't have an adjustment for. There was no answer for at that moment. But what do you think about what adjustments the Dallas Mavericks can make in game 2, man? Because again, 89 points is not going to get it done. 1 assist from Luka Doncic is not going to get it done. And it's only game 1, right? So I don't want to make it seem like it's all doom and gloom for the Dallas Mavericks. We did see in the third quarter, maybe if they weren't down 29 at a point in the game, that run would have been a little bit more impactful and significant. But again, what are some adjustments that you think they can make in game 2?
I mean, yeah, I think that run would be more impactful. I think on SVP, Sports Center with SVP, they had backstage cameras in the Mavs locker room. J. Kidd was saying, hey, we won the third quarter, we won the fourth quarter, we got something to work on going into game 2. I had to look at the box score because it didn't feel like I'm like, oh, they really did win the third and fourth quarter. But I mean, the first half was just the game was already essentially done. I'm gonna guess that if they're gonna guard Luka like that, where take away the shooter, I think he should be way more aggressive when he gets the ball. Look to score. And then, I think the natural instinct is going to be in that situation then to help off if he's getting buckets or whatever, to help. And then that will lead to dribble penetration and everything and set up some shooters. Kyrie, probably get him going, get him some action early, get his confidence going. Because I think, like I said, I think they're going to need him. I'm more confident in Luka than I am Kyrie. I know what I'm going to get Kyrie going. I'm even thinking of starting. I don't think this is a good series for Daniel Gafford. I like Lively more in this series because I think he's more agile out there in the perimeter and everything. But he didn't pick up a lot of fouls. He get like a fifth foul late in the third quarter. So you're gonna need him in a close game. So I guess start Lively and limit Gafford's minutes. Probably bring in Tim Hardaway because he can get hot anytime. You know what I'm saying? Give him more minutes this series as well. That's what I'm looking at right now. So some adjustments they can make.
Adjustments, as you said, Kyrie and Luka play more aggressive. I always think about what Charles Barkley said when he talks about the finals that he had in 93. He was like, I have to come out and be aggressive because your role players are going to play better at home, but on the road, you got to lead by example, get those guys acclimated, get those guys comfortable. And I think Luka and Kyrie got to play faster. If you allow this Boston Celtics defense to set up, they're able to switch, they're able to contest, they have multiple guys that they can throw at you. Try to catch these guys off guard as much as you can. Try to get into your sets faster and try to get to the basket. Those two guys have to be aggressive, take the pressure off the other guys like Derrick Jones Jr. And P.J. Washington. Maybe that boosts their confidence, get them some easy shots early on as well. But I think they just got to play faster, play with a little bit more aggressiveness. You can't let the Boston Celtics defense set up because once they do that, they know where everybody is. They know where you're going. They're confident that they can at least live with what Luka Doncic is doing right now. Like, hey, we're going to put somebody on him. and live with the results. He got a couple easy ones there in the third quarter, getting to the basket and stuff like that. So you can look towards those positives, right? He was able to find some type of offensive momentum in that third quarter. Overall, you got to try to get those guys easier shots and be aggressive. Go down, get downhill, as they always say about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Get downhill, get to the paint, create those easy, because they're going to double you. They're going to try to take away those shots. The Celtics defense was swarming. I think there was a layup Kyrie went up for, and there was 3 Boston Celtics defenders with their hands out blocking his shot. So you definitely got to take away those things. And as you said again, I said this in the group, and I was like, play Tim Hardaway Jr. He's known as a shooter. Try to see if he can give some spark to your offense, right? Because Dallas is not known as a shooting team. They're known as an ISO team with Luka and Kyrie and their creation. But overall, they need some shooting. And Maxi Kleber can possibly provide that. Look for him as well. Look for Tim Hardaway Jr. as well in those situations, and try to get those guys going. Because if they are able to knock down shots, that can be the difference in the game. The Celtics, as the Dallas Mavericks, again, as you said, Gafford and Lively, I would try to look to play Lively a little bit more, and Maxi Kleber on that front line, because they're a little bit more versatile in this defensive matchup, I think. And especially with Gafford picking up 5 fouls. That was crazy, because it was like I didn't even notice it. It was like, wait a minute. I'm like, he has 5 fouls? It was that quick. It was like, I guess you can say it was his best Karl Anthony Towns impression, but it was just wild. I didn't know he had 5 fouls. So for the Celtics to do that and put those guys in foul trouble, which was a good sign for the Boston Celtics. But Dallas, you got to play faster. You can't be tentative in this NBA Finals. The Celtics came out and knew exactly what they wanted to do. And it seemed at times Dallas was kind of trying to problem solve and try to figure it out. And they didn't really have an adjustment for it. And it kind of cost them game 1 when they were trying to make a run.
I mean, if you're a Mavs fan, you could look at it, hey, we lost game 1 against the Clippers, got blown out without Kawhi. Lost game 1 against OKC in similar fashion, because they was on fire from 3 in that game too as well. Now, this Boston team, I think it's like OKC, but way more turned up. So, take a smart from that.
A more polished veteran OKC team. That's what the Boston Celtics are.
Exactly.
A little bit more dynamic offensively, but the makeup is the same. Of course, with that being said, can the Celtics keep up the same energy in game 2? People have been notorious for the Celtics dropping game 2, drop game 2 against Cleveland and Miami. Can the Celtics keep up that same energy and be ready for any adjustments that the Dallas Mavericks make, man? Because one thing Dallas has to do is play more aggressive, and I think they're going to play better. They're not going to try to be down 29 in the first quarter. But the Celtics do have people have said the Celtics do have a history of blowing game 2s or giving people one. Do you think that's going to be the case here? Can the Celtics keep that same energy?
Keep the same energy? Absolutely can. Same production? Kind of hard to believe. I'm talking more about the 3-point line. I can't expect them to shoot that like that again in consecutive games. So I think they're going to cool off the 3, but you'll probably see a more aggressive Tatum. I think Tatum will be a better performer. Get more buckets, be more active on defense and everything. And so I think you can duplicate that. It's going to matter if will the 3-point shot fall like it did, which I don't think it will.
Yeah. So, I mean, is that something that Dallas can lean on? Try to make it so, hey, let's try to do what they're doing to Luka, guard Tatum one-on-one, get him out of his creation bag, because that seemed to be working, where he's finding his teammates, other guys are building confidence. Can they zero in on Tatum like that? Who would you put on Tatum to zero in and basically be like, yo, we're not going to try to triple team you when you go to the basket. We're not going to try to double team you or show help. Is that something that they can play into their hands, where it's like, we're going to take away your creation for everybody else and make sure that you're the zoned in one-on-one, that you're trying to find your shot overall, getting your team involved? Is that something that Dallas can play on to?
I mean, the best defender I think to happen was Derrick Jones Jr. I would say, just because of his length, is more physical, has more muscle on him, so he can probably bully him and get to his spots. But with the length, I think ideally you want to put Derrick Jones Jr. on Tatum and then have Washington on Jaylen Brown. So it's a tough task, and they got to do a better job of keeping them out the paint, because they was getting to the paint, especially in the third quarter, which they really stopped that run from.
Like, I'm just thinking, is that something that they can do? I know Boston has multiple creators in Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday that can create on the offensive end, but I think that's the biggest thing, because that leads, when they're sitting there doubling and tripling Tatum, it leads to open shots. Like we've seen the picture where multiple guys, they had Jaylen Brown, Holiday, Porzingis wide open on the perimeter. I don't know if you want to do that with the Boston Celtics. So is there something that I just feel like that's something that maybe Dallas can also look at? Maybe he's just zeroing in on Tatum and being like, yo, we're going to guard you one-on-one. We're not going to leave the shooters. If you get hot, we just got to live with it. But at least we're playing basket for basket with Luka on the other end. Maybe that's what you can make it, like a duel or something. But
I mean,
yeah, I think
that's definitely awesome. Like you said, they had so much options on. Everybody's a threat. They had 5 guys on the
tough, but it's tough, but it's like you got to cut off something. You got to cut off something, man. Like he's getting to the basket. It's like, but you're leaving guys open. It's like those threes are really the separator for Boston all season, right? Like best 3-point shooting team in the league. And you're giving them open shots. I think they were 8 for 21 on open shots or something like that from 3. It's like you're giving them those multiple opportunities. It's like I wouldn't want to do that, but it's just a case of just trying to figure out something to cut off. You got to be able to stop something. You got to be able to live with something. And it's like you kind of Dallas standpoint, it's like you're kind of just living with everything. Like the Celtics were getting everything. So it's like trying to find something to cut off. But as for the Celtics with their energy, I think their defense is going to be there. I think that's something that they can rely on if the shot's not falling in the series, because at least they're able to be like, hey, we can slow down Kyrie. We can live with PJ Washington and Jarrett Jones making shots until they make shots, and just battle Luka until you try to wear him down. He's still gimpy on that knee, and just try to wear him down. I think that's something that they can always rely on, is at least the defensive end side of the ball. And that generated their offense. We saw with their run there, their defense there towards the end of the third quarter, where they got those 2 blocks from Jaylen Brown, contesting all those shots and getting in transition and getting easy shots. Yeah, I think the defense is going to be there. And this home crowd is not going to let them lay an egg. I don't think so either. I think the crowd is going to be on them and bring that energy into the building. So, yeah, I think the Celtics can't keep up that energy, but Dallas has to make some adjustments, man. I don't see how Dallas can continue to just let them get those open shots and just let Tatum and Brown continue to manipulate the game, because they got to find something. I don't know what it is. We tried it with the shooting and stuff. We named Maxi Kleber and Tim Hardaway Jr., but it's like they got to pick up their defensive intensity. They got to get after it in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, this look was really reminiscent of the game on March 1st in terms of like their effort at contesting the 3-point shot, their intensity on that end. They've been one of the best defensive teams at the 3-point line since their run late into the season in the playoffs. So it was kind of shocking seeing that what happened in game 1. But I think they'll have a much better effort to contest the 3-point line.
And maybe that just goes back to Porzingis. Porzingis was really the difference in that first half. Like, I don't think they were ready for that. I don't think they game plan, especially with him not in the starting lineup. I don't know if that. What do you think? Like him not being in the starting lineup, I was saying, hey, start Porzingis, start him, just trot him out there. He ended up playing 20 minutes or so, 21 minutes or so.
20 minutes.
He was on. Yeah, so it's like I didn't see that coming. Nobody saw that coming, but I was just shocked. It's like they didn't have an answer for him. I don't think they were ready for it. That's the thing. Like, who's ready for that? Like, he was dunking, posting up. Like, he was doing all the things Kristaps Porzingis does, but it's just like he hasn't played in 2 months, nearly 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just weird to me. It's like, yo, no one was expecting that. And I think that's the thing that caught Dallas off guard. They had no answers for that. And that's tough, man, because that guy stretches the floor so much. He's able to finish inside. That's a tough matchup. I don't know what you do there, but yeah, that Dallas has to figure out some things there, man. But with that being said,